What's up? It's the Over Under podcast, Over Under 985 podcast. I'm Joe Murray. Dan Lifshatz is here. What's up, Dan?
What's going on, guys?
We are here where it's a Thursday, so we're just doing a podcast. I'm sure there's a lot to talk about and baseball. And there's you know what, Dan? I'm going to give out a pick on the Lakers Celtics game. How about that?
Nice. I got a baseball pick for everyone tonight. So
how about that? We're going to give out picks during the show today. So. Let's load it up here. I'm sure you guys know the drill. I just tweeted it out. Dan will tweet it out, and then you guys can join the show and hang out with us. So we'll let it get cooking a little bit here, so you guys can jump in. I have renewed the StreamYard account, Dan.
Very, very nice.
Well, to be honest with you, last year at this time, what I wanted, my idea of the show, Dan, was to do it like we do it, but have it live, and then like I found out there's a scroll now, where I could just scroll the line of the game that we're talking about underneath the thing. I want to put our logo in the background too, so eventually I'm going to get there, because Toucher and Rich uses the same thing now as us, yep. And now our buddy Nick Gemelli, the Bachelor. Bachelor Nick now. Maybe that can stick with him for a little bit there.
Of course.
But yeah, maybe he could help us out. But anyways, we got 760 people in right now. Let's get it going here. DraftKings Over Under. Comment in. Dan, I just saw this come over the wire. On DraftKings, of all places, our boy Will Brinson, tweeting it out just a few seconds ago. We have movement on who the third overall pick could be, or the favorite is, in the NFL draft. And it's funny that this morning, the heavy -190 favorite was Mac Jones to be third pick. FanDuel was popping out that over 3.5 at plus 200, dangling it out there. And then right now, at the moment, Justin Fields on DraftKings. So if you're on the DraftKings app, Justin Fields is now the favorite to be the number 3 pick in the NFL draft. How about that line movement?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really that big of a surprise from what we talked about this morning. I told you that I thought that Jones is being too highly valued there. Now I think that we're going the other way. And, right now Jones under 3.5 at plus, 150, I think is probably a pretty half decent bet, especially if you ended up laying down, Jones over 3, or if you end up laying down Fields under 3.5, or Jones over 3.5 plus 200. So I mean, there are definitely a couple of different ways to bet this. We did talk about this morning, and I was going to bring it up today. There has been some really heavy movement, and we're finally started seeing some more lines pop. I know that obviously Metallic Locals put up lines again today. They've been kind of going back and forth every other day. Ace Locals, who definitely is it's a big PPH for a lot of guys out there. Their lines kind of popped up today. We're seeing right now Justin Fields over under 4.5. His under is heavily juiced at -165, -165 for the 4.5. So, the props are up there. What I would tell you is that there is not a whole lot of value right now. Right now, you're seeing Justin Fields over under 3.5. Most places, he's obviously the favorite. I ultimately do think that it will probably still be Mac Jones. All the insiders are saying it's going to be Mac Jones, which usually means that, it's going to be that. But Schefter did back off the report a little bit today. So, it does sound like there's a possibility there. I do think that there are a few. There is a little bit of value on a few sites. If you want me to kind of give you what I personally think is still out there. There's not a ton, because you've seen a lot of the movement, especially today. Unfortunately, today was a big movement day. However, Jalen Waddle over 11.5. He had I guess your Buckeye skin, your whatever. I think has some value. I think that will move probably tremendously soon. Your Penei Sewell under 5.5 plus 120.
Get a little worried about that one now.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people talking about Sewell possibly, the Bengals passing on Sewell. It doesn't make a ton of sense for me. I mean, Burrow just gets hurt, and now you're going to pass on maybe the best left tackle prospect in five or so years.
And I think Boyd and Higgins were fine. Higgins is your guy now, right? I mean, you got to hope that. I think Higgins what he is, but the fact he had 900 yards, I was shocked. So I think you got to roll with him, and Boyd on the other side. And believe it or not, Pitts might be the answer for them.
Yeah, but again, I don't think it's. Ultimately, if I'm them, I'm looking and saying, well, Burrow just got hurt. We need to protect Burrow, and I mean that's the way that I would approach it.
In my opinion, Dan, this is like if you asked me who I think the player that will play the best and play the longest, it's Penei Sewell. I think he'll be a left tackle for 10 plus years.
So I do expect Sewell still to go at number 5. I mean, unless there's a massive trade there, I expect him to be at number 5. So I think under 5.5 there is a half decent bet if you're looking there. You can probably find an under 120. It looks like a metallic's popping up there. I tell you, Kyle Pitts is getting a lot of steam. I was able to get him under 7.5 a couple weeks ago. Now it's under 5.5. There is definite steam going there. You should be able to find let's see what I can find here just quickly. You should be able to find a minus 120 under if you really, really think that the Bengals are going to take them. If not, then, pop that over. You should be able to find a plus money over or an even money over. There are definitely some scalps still available as well. I mean, not a ton, but DraftKings is popping up with an interesting number for Patrick Surtain. I don't want to get too deep into the draft stuff today, just because I feel like again we don't have a ton of it. Yeah,
two more weeks.
Yeah, we still don't have a ton of it, but it's starting to get there. People have missed the good numbers. Jamar Chase was over under 6.5. That's now 5.5. Trey Lance was 7.5. That's now 6.5. Devonta Smith was 11.5. Jalen Waddle was 11.5. Fields was 4.5. Jones was 3.5. Pitts was 5.5. So I mean, was 7.5. So I mean, there's been a lot of good numbers. Let me give you one that's really good, Joe, that I do really like and has some value. Give me over 5.5 quarterbacks. Give me over 5.5 quarterbacks round 1 plus 325.
Plus money, huh?
Plus 325. So three, almost 3.5 to 1. Listen, the way I'm looking.
Well, let's count the names, right? We got so we got Lawrence, Jones, Wilson. Who else am I missing? Fields and Lance. So there's your 5, and then it's going to be anything that's over that. So if there is a 6 quarterback, someone who pops up from let's say it could be your boy from Florida there, Joe, who I know you love so much, Kyle Trask. Well, in passing this morning we were talking about the Bucs. There's a couple of teams that I think late in the draft could draft a quarterback just because they need one. I think Tampa Bay is one. I think New Orleans is one. I think Pittsburgh is another. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears maybe moved up, at some point maybe So I think that late in the round, the quarterbacks might get taken based off, maybe value in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot about Davis Mills and obviously Mond from Texas A&M. I think that there's going to be a team that ends up reaching for one of those guys late. You saw obviously Lamar Jackson get taken late in the first round before. He was one of those questionable tweener guys. I think we're going to end up seeing one of these guys get taken late. So I do think over 5.5 plus 325 is a really good value play that's still on the board for some legitimate value. Me personally, I do think that Smith is going to end up being the pick at 3. I'm not going to take a big position on it, especially right now. If you feel confident in Smith at 3 and want to ignore the, Field buzz today, which I know a lot of sharps are saying, I don't really care what the market's moving. I want to hear some actual legitimate, reporters kind of come out there and, maybe have a story on it. I do think that Smith is still going to end up being 3. So I think you could probably get some pretty good value there. And we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks when it pops up. But I think over 5.5 quarterbacks is a good one. And yeah, as our guy Joey Bragg says here, there are a lot of guys sitting at that 5.5 marker, right? Kyle Pitts is sitting at that 5.5 marker. Penei Sewell sitting at that 5.5 marker. Jamar Chase sitting at that 5.5 marker. So, I mean, listen, you're not going to get all these guys who it just can't happen, especially if you think Atlanta may end up taking a quarterback, which there are some people out there who think that, Lance is going to go 4 or Fields is going to go 4 or someone's going to trade up. Now you're really talking about one of these guys being in the top 5. I think, it is possible to take a look if you want to try spread some money, maybe take a Sewell over 5.5, a Chase over 5.5, and a Pitts over 5.5, and you're probably going 2 out of 3 there. Not my personal opinion, or not my personal favorite. I mean, but if you want to spread some over 5.5s there, I don't think that's terrible. But yeah, the markets are coming up, so pay attention.
Awesome. And the draft is the 29th. So there's this week.
2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today, John.
So there's on the 29th, Dan, the draft starts at 8. Maybe we should think about doing a longer
a podcast.
Longer podcast because the first pick's gonna be Lawrence. We know that.
Yeah, maybe we'll do one early in the week. Maybe we'll do like a Monday podcast because I feel like by Thursday you're probably fucked on everything. There's gonna be things coming off the board. Lots of stuff's gonna be leaking. So I think maybe we'll try and do an early week one, maybe a Monday.
All right. Yeah, just thinking ahead here with the draft. Thursday nights now, which kind of suck, but whatever. We'll get into that. Just some other things I thought that were pretty interesting. Just sticking with the NFL. Did you see the DraftKings deal today with they're the official sports betting partner of the NFL? So it's
DraftKings, FanDuel, and Caesars. So it's all 3 of them.
So they're going to use Caesars lines, kind of like ESPN.
Yep.
And so I mean, the sports betting thing, it's real, and I know it. I know we bitch about it here in Boston, obviously, but I'm glad that I see it happening elsewhere because, I don't know, how this quirk's early on. I don't know. I mean, I know politically, Dan, it's stupid, but seeing it happening everywhere else. It's at some point, this thing's going to have to happen here, and I don't want to get political, but the NFL and the DraftKings and other, books are now, legitimately working with professional sports teams. Look at the NBA as well, hockey, right? Okay, I think it's time now to really start taking this thing seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I totally don't disagree. The space, just the market has exploded in the past, really 2 to 3 years. I mean, we got entered the space, and I think it was kind of exploding as we entered it. And it's only gotten crazier. I mean, now you're seeing, TikTok, females and males make picks on TikTok, and
Barstool partnered with a sports book.
Barstool got purchased by a gambling company, and so what they're doing. I mean, so Barstool has entered the space. Obviously, the legality is now up to almost 30 states in the country, meaning you can bet it over or almost over 60% of the country you can bet legally. So I mean, it's only going to get bigger, and the handle is going to get larger, and it's going to become this is the next sort of fantasy bubble. Fantasy was one thing, and now it's going to be betting. And we talked to our our guy Rick Radzik about this years ago, and kind of told him this was going to happen, and he was kind enough to let us start this podcast. But just as there's a lot of really great stuff in the space, there's a lot of really a lot of shit in the space too. And so it's important to pay attention to who you're following. And I'm not saying if you don't like us, that's more than fine.
Watered down lines, and the one thing that I have to say too, Dan, is you talk about shit, right? I don't want to call anybody. You ever get tagged on like somebody like, hey, I'm giving out picks today, and they like tag you on it.
All the time.
And it's like, dude, I love it, man. Like, great for your passion, and like, awesome. Like you're trying to do it, but at the same time, like, know who you're listening to. Like, that guy could be a character. You know what I'm saying? Like, all I mean is like, hey, if you don't like us, or sometimes don't like our picks, at least listen to the analysis of it. Because, dude, sometimes we're dead on in the games. We're just off on the score. We're fucking way off. You know what I mean? Like, it's so generally when you analyze a game, and we're like guys who work in sports radio, so it's not like, no, it's like we watch the games, and so that's all I mean is I think the only thing I'm worried about is fucking watered down lines, man. Where there's no value, and I don't know. And then it's everywhere, and it's like you want to bet it at some point,
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely understand. I definitely understand what you mean. I mean, it's definitely a concern that you're seeing, these 40 cents, 45 cent, 50 cent lines. I mean, our guy Sam Pejanovic and Chicken Dinner was talking about the Montana lines, and it's like, it's fucking 50 cent lines, like minus 125 on both sides. Like it's already hard enough to fucking win at minus 110.
Yeah, and dude, not for nothing, but the local, well, he wants me to go to him.
And again,
you know what I'm saying?
So I mean, that's the reason, like, PointsBet Montana is going to have a hard time attracting customers when they can go to, Joey Bag of Money on the corner and get a couple minus 110s and not have to lay the minus 125. And so,
exactly.
This is going to be stuff in the future that's going to be a concern. I mean, what's going to happen is, Massachusetts eventually does pull, pulls the whatever out of its whatever. I'm not going to say on the podcast because I'll get in trouble, but, pulls the, what I'm saying out of the, what, and, kind of gets their shit straight. And, all of a sudden, we're going to have all these places enter the space. We're going to have DraftKings into the space. We're going to have FanDuel into the space. We're going to my guess is Barstool's going to want to enter the space. PointsBet's going to enter the space. I'm assuming that BetMGM is going to want to enter the space. You're going to have all these companies want to enter the space, which is great. But what are the rules going to be in terms of mobile betting? What are the rules going to be in terms of college betting? Like, if you lose college, that's a huge fucking market you've just lost, massive market. So now there's a reason for me to hold on to my Joey Bag of Money on the corner. You know what I mean? You're taking money out of your own pocket. So I do think that as important it is for legalization, it's also important for the process and the way that things are done. And, Joe Ostrowski is another one of our guys who talks about that all the time. And I think Joe has really been ahead of the curve. And same with Sam. Both those guys have really been ahead of the curve on, the actuality of the, it's not just legalization, it's how you legalize, the process of legalization and the result of legalization and kind of everything that goes along there. So, let's hope. I mean, let's hope. Obviously, we keep hearing things like, oh, it's gonna be ready for football season. I'm obviously negative Nancy. I have no faith, but I'm hoping.
It's funny, Dan. I always crack jokes whenever you see, hey, did you see the handle? And I just like, hey, what was Massachusetts? I like to do it. It's poking the bear. You know what I mean? And it just, and you know what, dude? It rattles everybody's fucking cage. Have you noticed that?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a good pressure cooker fucking conversation to really like get people steaming. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, I think I want to like tell these people. I just kind of maybe got you excited about it getting closer, and I'm with you, man. I don't, and it has nothing to do with a political argument. I don't think we should be anticipating it anytime soon here. I know, like it's it's made its face. It's sprouted out from the ground, let's say.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's growing, man.
I mean, we'll see.
I hope. I want to be fucking swerved one day. I want like Daniel Wallach or like some fucking guy is like, we're gonna make betting legal, and it's like, he beat the system, and then we all go nuts. You know what I mean? I want like something like a Simpsons episode. You know what I mean? I want something where it's like, we can't bet here. I'm in Rhode Island and I'm in New Hampshire. I just want like to be swerved, like, whoa, like it's legal, because I'm gonna tell you, as much as we want to make sense of it, they're not going to do it.
I mean, honestly, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I can drive 25 minutes up to the border in New Hampshire and play at DraftKings, or I can drive, 45 minutes to an hour and play at William Hill in Rhode Island, or I can 25 minutes on the app. It doesn't make any sense. It's fucking stupid, and to be perfectly honest with you, you're just losing money. You're losing money. And it sucks. So
sorry to waste our podcast time. I just, we don't want to waste our airtime talking about it. So I just think it's great seeing it everywhere else.
I also think it's important for people to understand it's not just legalization that's important. It's the process of legalization and the actuality of how things are going to be. Like, we don't want a fucking PointsBet Montana situation where it's fucking 50-cent lines. And what was even the fucking point of legalization? You're going to be able to do props and, some other shit if you get lucky, but that's about it. You know what I mean? So it's, to me, it's just, it's one of those things, dude. Like, it's 1,000%. Like, it's not even a question. Like, this is what you have to do. And I think that it's really, really important to, to understand this. But, anyways, let's move on. Joe,
what do you got? What do you got?
All right, well, let's talk about the slate tonight. Very quickly, there's not a lot of slate. There's not a big slate tonight, right? I'm holding off on NHL right now. There's 4 NBA games, I think. 4 NBA games. Milwaukee just ruled in Giannis, so Giannis is going to play tonight if you're interested in taking the Milwaukee 5.5.
Oh, dude, just looking at it quickly, like, okay, I love betting on the NBA. I love it.
Yep.
But the 2 nights ago, everything was like -1, -2, -3, and I was like, damn, all these games are like, really close tonight. Now I look at these lines now, and I'm like, oof. Like, I don't know, dude. The Bucks have that. I'm going to tell you this right now. They're slipping a little bit right now. Good.
I mean, Giannis has been out like 8-9 games, so he's back tonight. They'll be back. I mean, honestly, they're 3.5 games behind the Sixers. I mean, to me, the East is a 3-team race right now in terms of seeding. It's Sixers, Nets, and Bucks, and then after that, it's everyone else. And is anyone taking? Well, we'll get into that because I do want to talk about the Celtics, Joe. I have been. So many people have messaged me and talked to me about the Celtics being a good bet. I do want to get to that, but first, before we get to that, let's just talk about the slate. Yeah, honestly, the NBA to me, I don't love. I wanted to take the Celtics under tonight. I did. I liked it. I looked at it. I do think that that's the right side. That's my favorite side in the NBA tonight. That being said, I don't think I'm going to play it. I also like the Lakers, 6.5. I don't think I'm going to play that either, but I really like the under. I'm going to go with a baseball pick for tonight instead, but I do think that, it's whatever. And by the way, I'm also going to, I'm going to give out a few picks. I'm going to give out, I gave out the NBA, the NFL draft position that I like. I'm going to give a NBA future that I like as well. And I will give out a WNBA future that I like as well. So, therefore, because we're not going to get a ton of stuff, but we'll see what happens. And by the way, Robert Williams is out tonight too. So that's
well, all right. So the line's a little too big for the Celtics. 6, like, come on, I get it. LeBron and Davis are out. 6 is a little much for a team that's at home tonight, considering the Celtics are on the road. But Celtics are 7-3 in their last 10. They're playing well and they're keeping teams low scoring. Dude, 212 might be too low for these two teams. But you mentioned Robert Williams out tonight. I guess we got to see. Walker will probably play. The best team on the board tonight, though, is Phoenix. And, they've been hot of late. They're 12, and they went from 9.5 to 12.5 for tonight. So TNT Thursday night, right? I mean, we're gonna get Bucks, Hawks, Celtics, Lakers locally here. I see a little value in the over there, Dan, in that Celtics game, despite being 8-2 in the last 10.
I'm on the other side. I think it's an under game. That would be the way that I would go. I'm not playing it, not touching it. There are still some Lakers 6.5 subs. If you're interested in playing the Lakers side, instead of taking a 6, you go 6.5 if you really want.
Remember the last game was 96-95 Lakers. Remember, came down to the final shot. That went way under the last game.
Yeah, I do also like I like Phoenix tonight, laying the 12.5. Not that I'm going to take that either. But those would be the NBA sides I would take a look at. If I was doing, Joe, would you have a play on the NBA games tonight?
Yeah, Dan, I get why you feel the under. The last meeting was under between the two teams. This is a kind of a fade situation for me where I feel like the Celtics are going to give up a lot of points tonight. This is a game that I just got that feeling that they're not going to show up and win this one. It's going to be close the whole way. Lakers are going to score points. Celtics will hang around, score late like they do. Maybe they pull it out, maybe they don't. But I'm going to go over 212. It's a fade. Normally the Lakers would play a slower pace game. But without LeBron and without Davis, I'm fading that. So ring the bell, damn it.
There you go. So there's Joe Murray's play tonight. I'll give out mine. I'm going to take the Arizona Diamondbacks and Washington Nationals first 5 over 4.5 minus 105. Again, all my first 5 players are listed pitchers, so make sure it's Merrill Kelly versus Patrick Corbin. Pretty simple as this. I think Corbin is being a little bit overvalued in the situation. As much as I do lean the National side tonight in this game, I still think Corbin's being overvalued and the total, and he's not being taken into the total. Merrill Kelly, to me, is being incredibly overvalued and has been overvalued early in the season. I'm not a fan of what he's done in his 2 games. I think he's going to continue that streak. His FIP is better than his ERA, but goodness, he has been an absolute trash rag, kind of like Garrett Richards until today. Garrett Richards pitched very well. I'll give him total credit. He was fantastic today. He was. Give him credit. I still prefer Kluber over Garrett Richards long term and throughout the season and yada yada yada. But you know what? Garrett Richards pitched very well today. Gotta give him credit. But yeah, so give me D-backs Nationals over 4.5 at first 5 minus 105. Make sure Kelly and Corbin are pitching. Make sure it's listed pitchers. And by the way, for people who don't understand the difference between listed pitchers and action, just quit very simply. If I wanted to bet the D-backs Nationals, let's say Merrill Kelly gets sick before a game. If I bet action and Kelly gets scratched and whoever, would say Luke Weaver pitches instead, you're now betting Luke Weaver and Patrick Corbin instead of Merrill Kelly and Patrick Corbin. That's action. You're automatically taking the bet. No, that's it. If you are doing listed, that means that the pitchers have to pitch. If not, it's a canceled bet. And I know that has been a thing of discussion in the FanDuel and DraftKings space recently because there have been some issues with that in the past few days. However, most books will honor that, and I'm hoping that DraftKings, who I very much like, and respect, can make sure that situation is resolved correctly. But yeah, listed pitchers are listed pitchers. Action just means you're betting anyone. So if they get canceled, they get sick. If they don't throw a first pitch, it's not, it's action, baby. Like you're betting it no matter what. So I would warn you about action and playing action too quickly. It's just my opinion. It's not a good way to bet. In terms of first 5, not a good way to bet. So,
all right, pitchers tonight: Sean Manaea. He's at home. They're minus 170. Generally, you would think Oakland over Detroit. Did you know that Oakland's 1-6 at home this year?
Yeah, I don't like Manaea this year either. I'm very low on him. Tariq Skubal is a kid that Detroit has, kind of he's in that Casey Mize, Matt Manning type of range. He's been very good so far. I don't know if he has the upside that that those guys have, but he's a very legitimate prospect. I like the over there as well. I didn't play it, but I like the over. I lean Detroit as well. And same thing with the Rangers tonight. I lean the Rangers, and then I lean the Dodgers tonight. I still think the market has not caught up to where Austin Gomber is. I know Gomber pitched very well against the Giants last time out, and last time I faded Gomber. I think Gomber is eventually going to be a disaster. I've been wrong many a time. We'll find out this year, but I don't like Gomber. I like to fade him. So, but I do think the Rangers first 5 plus a half run has some value. And I do like the Dodgers. I know it's a heavy price to pay, but minus a half, minus 160 would be the lean I would go in that one. So I know that people are going to ask about those games. That's how I feel about those.
Fucking Rich Hill is still pitching, dude. I played against him. I'm 39. How old is he?
He's got to be early 40s.
He was a year ahead of me. He played at Milton. I played him.
He is 41, March 11th, 1980.
Wow. So I'm March 13th, 82. So, wow. Dude's still going, man.
Still got that arm, that rubber arm, baby.
He threw like low 90s, it wasn't like a overpowering lefty or anything. But it's just, lefties just have this stuff, Yep. And he was good. He had a great run, and wow, yeah, here he was pitching in World Series. So it's funny. Rocco Baldelli was also the coach of the Twins this week, and I played ball against him too. And it's just like weird. Like I'm old. Rich Hill's still playing, and Rocco Baldelli's a coach. Holy crap!
Yeah, you're old.
I'm definitely good. But dude, yeah, Rocco Baldelli was the best outfielder I ever saw play. In high school, at least. His kid was huge, dude. Imagine like a 6'2", I thought he was like Nomar. I thought he was Nomar. Literally, thought he was going to be like Nomar Garciaparra. But he had some sort of issue. Anything else on the diamond? What I don't like is the Dodgers games are just unbettable. They're nice.
Right. They're such a heavy favorite. Most of their run lines are now 2.5. I mean, I think the 1.5 is minus 1.5, minus 135, 140. We're looking at run lines, I think, that are 2.5 for the Dodgers, and when they're facing the Rockies and everything. So yeah, it's hard to bet. However, I'll say these big favorites have failed early. The Cubs have been massive favorites in these games, especially against the Pirates. They looked bad. The Padres are big favorites against the Pirates. They look bad. The Pirates have been half decent early on. Oakland's is a big favorite again tonight against Detroit. Look out. I think maybe a plan of action early on this baseball season. Find a team that you think is overvalued and fade them. If you really feel confident in your ability to kind of do that, find a team that you do not like the value of and fade them. So, for me, that right now, that's the Cubs. I think that they are a fadeable team right now almost every night. And as much as I would love to do that versus Oakland, maybe against Manaea I might, but just in terms of Oakland, I think they'll pick it up. So I don't want to go that position just yet.
Would you, and one of our listeners, John, mentions over 4.5 team total for the Dodgers tonight.
Yeah, I think I'd stay away from the team total.
Well, and I just wanted to just go over quickly. So they had 7, 4, 7, 3, 9, 1, 4, 5, 10. So they had 3 in a row of over 4. Well, actually over 4, so only 2. So 4 is like their number, man. They've had a few 11s. They had a 6, but 4, 10, 5, 4. 4 now is their number. I don't know. Plus a team that's struggling really bad. I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't like Gomber, but I really do like Urias tonight. I'd lay the Dodgers minus 1.5 instead of the team total. That's me personally.
Damn, dude.
Or take the first 5. You can find a good number on it. You like it, whatever. I'll lay the juice.
And Dan, should I just do a countdown now for the Red Sox? I know they lost today.
They lost,
but
so
they need 70 more wins.
71. Yeah, 71 more wins. No, what do you have the over? 79.5?
I got 79.5. I also took it at 80.5 too.
Yeah. All right. Well, yes. I mean, you need 71 more wins. There you go. There you go. So magic number is 71 for you, Joe Murray.
I'm just gonna count it down every day, baby.
Yep. I mean, I'm glad. I like the Red Sox under. I still think it. I think that team's pitching is going to fall apart at some point.
Well, here, can I tell you this is I'm gonna do this year, Dan. There was something I saw on Sunday where I was like, these guys care, you know. There was something I saw on Sunday where it was like, I had to watch the game. I had to watch the game on Sunday. I had to, but I just the manager wants it, man. You know, I think forget about the players, forget about the pitching, like all that. That fucking guy wants it, man. He's got something to prove, dude. Think about it. He missed a year of being called a cheater. Like he is. All right, whatever. Okay. But I just the way that team's playing, they're aggressive. Even today, like that great hit by Verdugo. There's something with the team, man. There's something with it. You might be right. Andres might fall off a fucking cliff, right? Who knows? I just think that they're entertaining, Dan, and I hope we get it through the summer. That's all.
Some interesting college news here. Eastern Washington transfer Tanner Groves. We saw them.
He looks like Jackie Moon. He looks like Jackie Moon from.
Yep. He has cut his list to 4 teams. Oklahoma, so Portland, which I cannot imagine is a good college program. Texas and Washington State. So some interesting.
Well, the only school with a coach is Oklahoma.
No, Texas has Chris Beard.
So, new. I mean,
new coach for Texas. I'd love for him to go. I'd love for him to go to Texas and see what Beard could do with him. That'd be very.
He's done okay with transfers, actually. I've been thinking about it over the years. He could be good there. Ooh, yeah.
Yep. All right. Let's. So first off, I said I'd give out a WNBA pick. A future tonight. Give me the Washington Mystics plus 400 to win the title. Plus 400 to win the title. Yep. So 4-1 on the Washington Mystics.
So does that mean we're going to Mohegan? Oh, the Washington Mystics.
Washington Mystics.
Oh, I thought it was the Mohegan. What's Mohegan?
That is Connecticut, and
whatever.
We are not the Connecticut Sun. No. So I mean, listen, the Washington team. Seattle's plus 125 to plus 150 in every place, and I know that they're returning an elite team. Washington will be elite. They'll bring Elena Delle Donne back, who's the MVP. They still have a maybe of they were really good last year, and they were without they're the MVP, and really half their team opted out. They're gonna be a pretty good team this year. Realistically, they're gonna be very, very good between Elena Delle Donne, Alicia Clark. This Mystics team at 4-1 is pretty stupid value in my opinion. So I do think that this is going to be Emma Meesman, of course, who is an elite WNBA player. I do think 4-1 is incredibly good value compared to what else is out there. I'll give another one out next week as well. But yeah, to me, it's Washington Mystics plus 4-1 plus 400. I think we'll see them in the final against Seattle, and whoever wins that series, that's fine. You can hedge off then, but 4-1 to me. I'm taking a pretty big position on it, so just want to give you guys a heads up now before that drops too far. But yeah, 4-1 Washington Mystics. There. So, Joe, final thing I wanted to touch upon tonight. I mean, we can take a look at the slate tomorrow if you want, and do whatever. I wanted to give out an NBA future, and I wanted to talk about the NBA.
Yeah,
and I wanted your thoughts on this as well. So the Celtics, obviously, we had Danny Ainge on Toucher and Rich this morning at 9 a.m. The guys are talking about the Celtics look better, and credit where credit is due. They're getting healthier. They look better. I know Robert Williams is out tonight and Fournier is out, but they're getting healthier. They look better. I got posed a question by 3 Celtics fans today, DMing me basically being like, listen, they're 20-1 to win the East. Is there value there? Do you think I should lay something on that? And the way I look at it is this.
What's changed in a week, though, before you give your answer?
Nothing.
All right, good. Go. Go.
Nothing has changed. The team is healthier. And I do think that Evan Fournier is going to allow them to play a little bit of a different offensive game. However, It doesn't change anything about this team. This team still has the same DNA. We're talking about the Celtics' best win of the season being against the Denver Nuggets without an elite player in Jamal Murray. That is maybe their best win. Or the Los Angeles Clippers without Kawhi Leonard. That's not exactly a win that inspires faith in a team. And maybe it does. I mean, the Nuggets slid after the Murray injury, and I know they bounced back with a win. But again, I can't take the Denver team super seriously with them.
Well, I think the problem is the Celtics still don't. It's weird, right? You watch some teams, and you know the way they're going to play. Like, remember the Heat would go into that zone last year, and you knew when they were in it, they believed in it, they played hard, and the Celtics would struggle. They had an identity, The Celtics don't have one. The Bucks really don't have one. 76ers are developing one. And I think the Nets have one, right? Right when Kyrie does his thing, and then they let Harden do his thing. It's like they switch off. It's identity, Dan. For me, I can't support money on a team that doesn't have an identity, and that's my only problem with the Celtics. Like, hey, dude, you know what? They're a talented team, right? You get them in a playoff, who knows what could happen. It's just, to me, I don't think they have it. So
my big issue is the path for them. Realistically, where can you expect them to end up, right? Do you expect them to end up as the 4 seed? If you do, 4 seed, 5 seed, realistically, barring some massive upset, they're facing Brooklyn in the second round.
Can they pass Atlanta?
I mean, yes, I think that they will. I think they'll win some games down the stretch. Are they the easiest stretch? But regardless, that 4-5 setup for me, it doesn't really matter.
That's true.
It doesn't matter if it's 4 or 5. I think in a series, if you're talking about the Celtics versus Atlanta, give me the Celtics. I will take Boston right now in the series.
I would too.
I wouldn't feel great about it. I wouldn't take a large position on it. But would I take a position on? Yes, I would say I would take a position on the Celtics beating Atlanta. I know Clint Capella has had his development. Robert Williams has too. I like the Celtics and their talent. If you're asking me to take a position on the Celtics versus the Nets, you're fucking crazy. You're just, it's not realistic. And I was going back and forth with people on Twitter today. Oh, the Nets are hurt. Harden's hurt. They're being super precautious with Harden. If this is a playoff game, Harden's playing. I mean, you guys know that. Come on. If this is the playoffs, Anthony Davis is probably out there and that probably misses, 2-3 games. He shoots up the foot, he plays. Same with LeBron James. They're taking their sweet time because they can. And so I think a lot of people are overreacting to these injuries. And, they're not really injuries. They're more of, you sprained your ankle, you hurt your foot, load management. Let's relax. Let's give you some time. We don't need you until the playoffs type thing. And I think that people need to understand that the Nets have played 3 or 4 games together as a trio, if that. I'm not even sure that's correct. They may have played 0 together, but either way, I mean, we're talking about a minimal amount of games. You're not beating Brooklyn. You're not. My friend on here, Dave. Okay, Dave is a great guy. Like, he is. Yeah,
great TV show too.
It's very great TV show on here. He loves to argue me about everything Celtics. He just thinks the Celtics are the best. He thinks Marcus Smart are the best. Okay, he thinks the Celtics have a realistic chance of being competitive against Brooklyn. Why? What has led you to believe that this team will be competitive against Brooklyn?
I think they can hang around, and then no. What I mean by hang around, like you saw Christmas Day, like they hung around, and then woof.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like they'll hang around, they'll play. That's
sure.
That's what the Nets do. They set you up.
Sure. They'll be competitive in games at times.
Yeah.
But they're not competitive in the series. As a series over, they're not competitive.
They won't get the calls and they won't make the shots. And they can't play the defense.
So here's the thing. If you're the Celtics at this point, you need to hope you start losing some games. I know that sounds ass backwards. I know it does. But you really got to be hoping that you're that the Nets slow down, because I think ultimately the Nets are going to be the number 1 seed. And you got to hope the Nets slow down here, and either the 76ers pick up, and then, the 4 seed is great. But if the Nets continue to go on their tear, they're one game out of the Sixers right now. They're, Harden is coming back, but Durant's back, Kyrie's back. I know they lost to Marcus Aldridge, but I want to slide back to that 7-8 spot. I mean, realistically, that's where I want to be. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but that's where I want to be. I don't see it. I don't think the Celtics have any value because then no matter the situation, they're probably going out in the second round. So that 20-1 doesn't really hold any value for me if I'm beating Atlanta. There's no hedging opportunity. There's nothing like that. There's no value. I have no interest in taking. I have zero interest in taking a position on the Celtics to win the East. And if they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, then I'll eat my words. And if they face Brooklyn, they'll get their dicks kicked in by Brooklyn. But that's fine. At least there'll be a hedgeable opportunity. And, there'll be some money to be made there. I just don't see it. And I have no interest in taking the Celtics 20-1 to win the East. That being said, the opposite side of the spectrum is we're looking at the Western Conference right now. We're looking at the injuries with the Lakers and where the Lakers are in terms of winning the NBA title. The Nets are getting way too much love right now. Way too much love. They're really, really talented, and they're not going to lose to a Boston Celtics. But could they lose to a LeBron James, Anthony Davis-led team that has a lot of good depth and a lot of good pieces surrounding them and now a lot of championship experience?
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
If LeBron and Davis are there, I'm going to rank them the favorite.
I mean, so they're BetMGM basically came out today and said the head bookmaker there, I forget his name, that if the Lakers if the Anthony Davis and LeBron James are healthy, and I think Montrezl Harrell was healthy as well, the Lakers will be a favorite in every series, including against the Nets. So I'd actually, Dan, I would. This is the year I think. Again, if Davis isn't, it's Davis. Davis is the key, not LeBron. LeBron's always LeBron. I think this might be the year where the Jazz or the Suns somehow sneak into the final. Absolutely 0% chance. There's a better chance that the Los Angeles Clippers get into the finals before those teams do.
You know what? This isn't Joe saying it's going to happen.
This is Joe. This is Joe buying into the Clippers all over again.
No. That's the problem. I'm not buying into the Clippers.
You're fading the Lakers again.
I'm fading the Clippers. I'm fading the Clippers.
You're fading the Lakers.
You're
fading the Lakers here.
Dan, this isn't again, I want to put this on the record because it's taped. I'm not saying that I think it's going to happen. I think it's Lakers or bust. I think it's Lakers or bust if Davis is right. I want to make a side bet with Dan Lifshitz.
Deal.
That if it's not the Lakers, it's the Jazz or Suns.
Oh, okay. So you're saying if it's not the Lakers, it's the Jazz or Suns. Yeah. No, I'm in on that.
Oh, you're in on that one?
That I'm in on. I thought you were talking about. I thought you were trying to play the fade the Lakers game again, and I was going to say
no. I'm just saying if it's not the Lakers, it's not the Lakers.
If it's not the Lakers,
it's going to be the Jazz or the Suns.
You and I fully agree there. Fully agree.
All right, we fully agree then.
Fully agree. I think there's no side bet to be made there because I think the Clippers are tremendously overrated and are going to be a relatively the same team as they were last year. Relatively the same team.
Hey, if that's the case, right? Is that a layup for Brooklyn?
Yes. I mean, I think Utah could give them a little bit of problems in terms of the teamwork. But yeah, I would be borderline stunned if Brooklyn lost that series. Stunned. Now we'll see what happens when we get there, right? We'll see what happens when we get there. Things could change, whatever, injuries could happen.
I need something new, man. I can't go back to old ass. Is Davis gonna play? Davis limping up and down the floor. Oh, he got his one out tonight. No. Give me fucking Chris Paul getting his due with the Phoenix Suns.
I think if you're looking for a team to come out of the West that isn't the Lakers, I think it's I think it's Utah. I don't think Phoenix has a prayer, to be perfectly honest with you. They're too young. I mean, Chris Paul is an unapologetic loser in the NBA. We know that. I think they're really, really young. It's a really young team. You're asking them to do what the Celtics did, basically, except I'd argue maybe the Celtics had at least a little bit more experience than they did, and they still couldn't do it. I think that's a lot to ask from a really, really young team who's probably playing above their expectations right now. But in terms of the actual value on the board right now, Joe, the Lakers are plus 350. Plus 350 to win the title right now. At metallic skins, there's a couple other skins in Vegas at the sports books in Vegas. They're 4-1 or 4.5-1. So I don't think it's fair for me to give a price out that. But give me the Lakers plus 350 again. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? They're gonna be the favorite if they make the finals again. It's a really, really good price. Davis is going to be back in the next week or so. LeBron's going to be back in the next 2 to 3 weeks. They're resting them. They're not concerned about that. If those guys stay healthy, which again, you never really know, but if those guys stay healthy, the Lakers are going to win the Western Conference, and I think they're going to win the Western Conference going away. I don't think it's going to be that difficult for them, honestly. Denver was the team I was scared of most. Yeah. And without Jamal Murray, that team is in serious trouble.
I wonder if they'll take a look at Isaiah. Have you see that? I'm watching NBC Sports Boston right now.
I did see the report.
Are the Celtics interested?
I mean, the report is that they're interested.
Kemba can't play back-to-back games, so he got minutes.
I mean, I'll tell you this. Isaiah Thomas, when he was on the Pelicans, his 10-game sample, there was a reason they did not resign him.
Yeah, he had that one game.
It was not pretty defensively. It was bad.
Yeah, I just feel like I think we kind of feel like the season they're going to make the playoff. If they win a round, it's like, yeah.
Listen, if you want to
bring it in, IT is like, oh shit.
If you want to bring back Isaiah for the story, fuck it, dude. I'm in. I mean, I'm not taking this team as a serious contender.
Yeah, exactly.
So the story would be great. So fuck it. I'm totally in. But just don't try to sell me, because I know what's going to happen, Joe. The Celtics got Isaiah. They're going to be in the that's coming. You know it's coming. You know it. If they get Isaiah, and listen, to be cool story, it doesn't help them for the title. It doesn't make them better. It doesn't. Okay. Evan Fournier, acquiring Evan Fournier made them worse. Don't forget that. Moving Tice out and adding Fournier made them worse. Bet most books. BetMGM was the only one to actually upgrade the Celtics. Everyone else, downgrade. All right, so I think that's good. We covered the WNBA. We covered the NBA again. I just needed to talk about how the Celtics, again, even at 20-1 value, are not good value. I would expect Brooklyn to be anywhere between 8.5 and 9-1, to potentially beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals. Maybe I'm selling them high. Maybe it's 6.5 to 7. But again, the hedging value is so very little there. You'd have to make it through, the first round or the second round. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. So
Dan, I'm sitting on my bankroll from the tournament. I put in one bet last week on the Celtics, hit for 300. Put a couple of bucks on the Masters. Who'd I hit? I hit Harmon at plus 140 to be the first lefty. And dude, remember I was saying leader after the third day in Matsuyama? It was like 2,800 or something.
Yep. You were all over Matsuyama too. That was your guy.
I thought Schaffel was going to make a run. Schauffele.
I mean, those were your two guys last weekend, and they both did very, very well. I was very confident Spieth was not going to win. I mean, books were still pricing him like take the bait, and I mean, a lot of people took the bait on Spieth to win, but the square side usually doesn't win unless his name is Tiger, especially in golf. Like that's just it's uncommon. It's not a common thing to happen. But you were dead on about Matsuyama. You were dead on about Schauffele. Sunday kind of sucked because Matsuyama just he just rolled. But I
Yeah,
mean,
he tried to fuck it up, but he couldn't.
Saturday was great though. Saturday
Yeah.
watching that shit Saturday.
My only thing with Matsuyama at the time though is he played. Remember he was it was here what's it called, ET, whatever it is, TPC up there. He ran the whole thing the first three rounds, and then shit the bed. Well, here he came on strong at the end, and I was like, well, he's still in the running, so maybe he can finish strong because he's been in it. And again, I thought Schauffele was finally gonna fucking and then yeah, it ended up. Who actually did pretty well. I was looking at some of them. You had Leishman for top 10. That hit.
Yep.
Trying to think of who else was in there. I saw Phil Mickelson was not far off from a top 10.
Yeah, no. I thought Leishman had even money for top 10 was just stupid. I was like, you're gonna give me free money, I'll fucking take it. That was a weird line. So Phil had a good day.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, some of these golfers. Some people had a really bad day too, though.
So I just got an email from Bet Online. I wanna get your thoughts on this.
Okay. Right.
This is interesting. They're putting up a new bet in the next few minutes. Teddy Bridgewater next team if traded by Game 1 2021. You want to hear the odds from Bet Online? Not Bovada or some of these other crap sites that just list teams without really any reasoning. Bet Online always has a method to the madness, and Dave Mason and those guys do a good job there. So at least I respect the odds, at least that they put up. The Broncos are plus 150. The Patriots are second on the list at plus 300. The Bucks are a plus 500. Your Saints are a plus 600, tied with the Texans and Vikings, all plus 600. The Steelers are 7-1. The Niners are 10-1. The Eagles 12-1, and the Cowboys 14-1. But I thought the Patriots being 3-1 is certainly interesting.
Well, I mean, if the Patriots want Bridgewater, he's an upgrade of Cam Newton, no doubt. He might even be a better option than Jimmy Garoppolo.
I don't think that. I think Garoppolo's a better option.
Well, all I'm saying is, you probably don't have to give up what you want for Bridgewater. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Jimmy would just be way better in the system. But yeah, I actually would take a shot. My only thing is, if you're gonna take a shot on Bridgewater, he's your guy. So I'm still not sold. The Saints, man. I know the Saints got to figure out that salary cap, but they can't go into the season with Jameis. And it's not that I don't dislike Jameis. I love Jameis Winston. I fucking loved him. I just think the Saints need a quarterback and play the Taysom Hill shit when you got it. Play Winston when you want. I think Bridgewater is the right guy there.
He was really good there. I just don't know how you'd open up cap space for him.
Yeah, and right now they're fucked.
Yep. All right. I mean, I think that's it. I know that we didn't have like a crazy amount of topics we wanted today.
It's a podcast, man. That's what we talked about what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Let me PP. Let me PP the quarterbacks in the draft over 5.5 plus 325. I think that's a good bet. I think there's some legitimate value there.
What was 4.5 was like what plus 110? I think it was
over 4.5 right now is like minus 250 or something.
Yeah. I just saw Dave Mason. This one tonight from John Ewing, Bet Labs. Celtics 4-9 against the spread as road favorites this season. They're the least profitable team in the NBA on the road as favorites.
Not surprised. That doesn't surprise me at all. They're not a great team right now. Excuse me. They've not been a great team this year. Right now, they've been better.
That's why I like the over, because I just think they're gonna fucking collapse on defense tonight, and it's just gonna be a fucking back and forth score. Where if LeBron and Davis were there, it'd be a pack it in half court game,
All right. Well, Joe Murray has a play in the NBA.
Yeah, I was looking at this hockey game too, but I'm gonna lay off it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say does Gigi whatever the fuck his name, PJ
Pajot
score a goal. for the Islanders tonight.
Oh fuck! I forgot they were playing. Let's see. Let's see if I can find an anytime goal scored number for Peugeot before we end this.
Yeah. What's that one in there? Because the total is 5.5. It's Tuca's return.
Peugeot anytime goal scorer plus 250.
Fuck it, give it to me. $25.
There you go.
Peugeot. 25. So what's that? 225 divided by 25.
Times 5. So
Times 5.
Yep.
Yep. So 125. So $25 for him to score a goal tonight. If he wins, I win 125. If I lose, I lose $25.
Yeah. So yeah. No. Sorry. Yeah. If he wins, what do you get? Man.
125.
No. I did the math wrong there for sure.
Why do I suck at math? 100 would get me
62 and a half. Yeah, I was gonna say
whatever. 62. But I'm in. It sounded better earlier.
It did. Yeah. No. I fucked up the math. I did 5 to 1. Not
whatever. PJ Jajo with a goal tonight.
Peugeot. Yep.
Peugeot.
I just bet it with you, Joe. I just bet it with you.
$25. Let's just fucking let it roll. 20. And by the way, I don't bet $25 bets. I just fucking around. You know.
I bet a little bit. I bet a little bit more than that, but
yeah, like $100 would be like my all right. Let's do 100.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just for fun. So.
WWE has released Mojo Rawley. They used them for the Gronk run, and then they fucking bet. We'll leave on that note.
Go do WWE on your own fucking time.
Hey, this is my own time.
All right, fine. Enough.
All right, good night. We'll be back on Saturday morning, 7 to 9 a.m. This has been another edition of the Over Under 95 podcast.
Who you got?
I'll send this to you, Dan. All right, bye-bye.